Welcome to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast. This is where we embrace how good you are, girl. Stop being the best kept secret in town. Learn how to use simple LinkedIn and social media strategies and make the big bucks.
Hey, it's Karen Yankovich, and this is your Good Girls Get Rich recap for this week's podcast show. And this week on the podcast, we had Rebecca Vertucci, and she was amazing. She is amazing. I can't wait to tell you more about her. Before I get to that, though, I want to just remind you that based on popular demand, we have added the blog back to my website. So KarenYankovich.com/071 is this episode. So you'll get a link to listen because it is a podcast, right? But also we have reformatted the show into a blog because we got a lot of feedback when I sent out an email asking, do you miss the blog? And there were just a lot of people that I kind of missed interacting with that were not podcast listeners, or just not listeners in general, and they wanted something to scan. So just a reminder that the blog is back, same content, but just reformatted so that you can consume it in whatever way makes the most sense for you. So I hope that I love that we're doing that. So I'm excited to see your feedback and your comments on that. We're going back. So what we're basically going to do is every week as we go into the new show, we're going to, obviously the new show will be formatted as a podcast. You can still get the show notes with the links to like the timestamps on it, like on your podcast player of choice if you're listening to it on a podcatcher. But if you're on my website listening, you will get the blog. And we're going to do the current one every week and one previous one. So, it'll take us a while to get to all of them, but we'll eventually get to all of them and add the blogs back. So feel free to poke around at some of the previous episodes too, because we want to make sure that we're giving you what you're looking for, right? And if you were missing out on some of the content we've been sharing because you're not a audio listener, then we heard you and we're going back and taking the time to do it. Maybe we'll do it more quickly, but right now I want to kind of give myself the space to be able to dive into what's next for you rather than swamping my team with let's go back and do them all today, right? So we'll hopefully do them more quickly than taking a year, but we'll see. So this week on the show, we had Rebecca Vertucci, and let me tell you a little bit about Rebecca. I met Rebecca in a Facebook program, a Facebook group for a program that we both are members of, and there was a conversation in that Facebook group about LinkedIn, and as is thankfully, gratefully common in groups that I'm a part of like that, somebody always tags me and says, Karen, what do you think? Because they know that LinkedIn is what I love to talk about. So then Rebecca jumped in, and what was interesting about Rebecca is that not only does she have a company that does LinkedIn marketing and just business marketing in general, she actually works for LinkedIn. So she she represents nonprofits and their marketing efforts and how to use LinkedIn to really develop their marketing. So, of course, I felt like I was talking to a rock star at that point. I glommed in on her and said, I'd love to chat with you. And when we were talking, there was so much synergy, talk about two geeks talking about LinkedIn like crazy about how valuable it's been to our businesses and how we love promoting that to our audience, right? I realized quickly that I wanted to have her on the show, and I'm actually going to be a guest on her YouTube show. I think we're filming that next week. So I'm not really sure exactly when it goes live, but of course I will let you know. So it was so good to have somebody that has similar values around using LinkedIn marketing. And when I say that, I don't mean that, that my values are better than your values. It's not that at all. There's lots of different ways to do this. And there's no one right way, but I know the way that I teach and what I like to do. And Rebecca had that same, she uses LinkedIn in the same way that I do, which is relationship based, which is authentic, how to meet people, how do you use these amazing, crazy tools so that you are developing relationships with some of the smartest people that can bring such huge value to your business. And how do you actually take those relationships off of LinkedIn eventually and onto the phone, right? So because we could have talked forever and ever and ever, I decided that I was going to dial in our conversation for the podcast to one specific LinkedIn topic. So the topic for this week is LinkedIn company pages. Rebecca has agreed to be back, so hopefully she'll come back and we'll dive in deeper on some other topics. But I'm thinking maybe LinkedIn advertising might be a good next conversation for us to have. But we talked in this episode about LinkedIn company pages very specifically. And I'm just going to I want to just grab my phone so that I can kind of not forget to tell you guys anything. So basically, I had a lot of questions for her because as much as I love my LinkedIn company page and I have it up there and I have followers, I was really neglecting it a little bit. You know what, you guys, if you listen to the last couple of lives here, my dog always decides she's going to jump in and get noisy when I'm live on camera. So Sadie, come on, jump up here, please, and stop making so much noise. Sorry about that. She sits on the couch and does nothing all day long, and then I turn on my camera and start talking, and she gets crazy. Anyway, I was kind of neglecting my own company page. And listen, LinkedIn has been making some changes to company pages. They're little changes, not big changes that you would see, but when I see consistent little changes in something like this, I start thinking something's happening. I need to pay attention because maybe there's going to be more value to it. Not that there wasn't value to it before, but if LinkedIn is going to put some attention to this and they're putting more value into it, then I want to be paying attention. I want to see how I can use it more efficiently and how I can use it and how I can help you use it more efficiently. So basically, it's kind of been a little bit like a brochure for your business. It was great because you can attach it to your personal profile. So kind of like Facebook, right? You have your Facebook personal page, which is your LinkedIn personal profile. And then you have your Facebook business page, which is like your LinkedIn company page. But it's a lot more difficult to grow your LinkedIn company page than it is to grow your Facebook company page. So, and at this moment in time, for most of my clients, for most of us entrepreneurs and small business owners and, even medium-sized business owners, and maybe even large business owners, the majority of the strategy on LinkedIn is happening at the personal profile level, right? Building relationships, authentic relationships. Who can you be connected to that can bring value to your business? So while the company page was valuable, it was good real estate for your business, I wasn't frankly using it well enough. So I was excited to dive in with Rebecca and get some understanding of how I could do a better job of using the LinkedIn company page. So you have got to listen to this episode. It's maybe one of the longest episodes I've done because we could have talked forever, and we did talk a little bit about the personal profile because we wanted to distinguish the difference between the personal profile and the company page, right? And again, I'm just sorry looking at my phone here. But you need to so basically how Rebecca's described it is your company page is your LinkedIn business website and content hub. Now, Rebecca reminded me, which I don't know how I needed this reminder, but clearly I did, that LinkedIn is the biggest content hub on the internet. Okay? Think about that. Think about that. Are you thinking about LinkedIn that way? Now, yes, we can share content on our personal profiles, and we are sharing content. We're putting post articles in and things like that, but we can also be sharing this stuff on our company page, right? So the features to grow your business that the company page that a profile doesn't have is we can do paid advertising from our company page. We can get insights into our followers. Okay, so our company page, as we grow the people following us on our company page, we get insights into those people. Okay, and we can also, by the way, even if you're not doing LinkedIn advertising yet, you could use the LinkedIn Pixel, put it on your website, and get insights even into your website demographics, right? And all of these tools are circulating around the company page. So far, this is all free, right? We're not paying any additional money for this. We just want to use the company page in a way that can get us more value, right? Eventually, obviously, if you're going to do LinkedIn ads, that's paid, right? And you need some support around that. And that's why I'm hoping Rebecca will come back. We can talk about that in a couple of months. I can't have her come back every week, right? Because that would just be crazy. So then we talked a little bit about how to dive into those things. How do you find your target audience? How do you find the quality people? How do you get more eyes on your content? And how do you truthfully leverage that content? So I just wanted to share that with you guys quickly and let you know to check out this week's show. It's KarenYankovich.com/071. I can't wait for you to see it. I want to hear what you're doing. I'm going to put a link below to my company page because I'd love for you to follow that. Put a link below to your company page so I can start following your page, and then we can help support each other, right? So thank you so much for being here for this week's recap, and I will see you back here again next week. Check out the podcast.